Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome to the Goddess Activation Podcast, where we dive deep into all the things divine feminine energy, pleasure, healing, sensuality, and really living connected with our bodies. I'm your host, Nikita Anand, spiritual embodiment coach and Kundalini and Tantra facilitator. And if you're ready to remember, reclaim, and activate the ancient wisdom that has always been within your body, stay tuned. Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome to the Goddess Activation Podcast. I'm your host, Nikita Anand, and it's my pleasure to welcome you. On Instagram, I asked you what questions and topics you want me to cover on this podcast, and loads of you asked to hear my personal story. So here it is. I'm recording 3 episodes for my journey because the first part is really about how I went from hating my body and having binge eating patterns and being really harsh on myself to loving my body, accepting my body, loving the way I am, and being nice to myself finally. And then part 2 will be about my sexual healing journey, and part 3 will be about my first 2 years of being an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship is like the next level of personal development. So let's start with part 1, how I went from hating my body and binge eating patterns and being harsh on myself to loving it. So as a child, I was always this joyful, bubbly, sunshine person, but I had a layer of shyness being put on me because as a child, I wasn't necessarily the most popular girl, and boys used to make fun of me a little, and that it wasn't too much, but it was enough for me to feel like I had to hide myself, for me to feel like I had to make myself small. So it already started there. And then I stayed this way of being like shy on the surface level. And then if you got to know me, I was like this beautiful, joyful, bubbly person. And then in 2014, I discovered working out at the gym and I fell in love with it. I was a little bit chubby before, but honestly, I fell in love with working out just because it made me feel so good. And I felt so safe and at home while working out and afterwards. There are so many things that I learned from the gym in total. Like I went from physically being weak to physically being strong. And this for me was proof that if I can go from physically weak to physically strong, I can do anything in life, like literally anything. So I was working out, reduced my weight to a healthy level in a healthy way, but then I got so focused on losing my belly fat that I drove it too far. I was working out 2 times a day and I was eating way too little for the output, for how much calories I was burning every single day. So much so that I got super skinny and I lost my period for 7 months. My nails became really unhealthy, like they were breaking off all the time. My joints and bones were cracking with every step that I took, and like this is scary when you're young. And at some point even my healthy full Indian hair started to fall out, and that was where I knew, okay, I drove it too far. Now I need to change things. So I had really gotten way, way, way too skinny. And even I thought that my arms and legs looked too skinny, but I was so focused on the belly fat. And I was thinking, yeah, I will gain weight or gain muscles back afterwards again. This can just show you when you're so focused on a beauty standard, you cannot see rationally anymore at some point. So as I was at my low point of no period, too skinny, hair loss, I wasn't allowed to work out anymore. And working out, the gym had become my happy space, and I was placing my whole happiness on the gym. And as you can think, this is not healthy. And as the gym was taken away from me, so was my happiness. And then because I wanted to go back to the gym fast and I also wanted to have my healthy, beautiful hair back fast again, I started eating a lot. Now, I lost the weight in a time of 8 months. And if you lose weight in 8 months, you won't gain back all of the weight in one day. So I was eating so much. I was eating for 1 month. I ate a whole tub of Ben and Jerry's, which is like 1,200 calories upwards every single day, alongside of a lot of other things. And I started stuffing myself, and this started to become a binge eating pattern. If you don't know what binge eating is, it's stuffing yourself with so much food, even food that you don't even like, and stuffing yourself to an unhealthy level. It's not just, oh, I ate too much at Christmas, or, oh, I had a little bit too much of pasta or fries and now I have to lay down for 30 minutes. No, for me, it was stuffing myself until I wasn't able to move anymore. And I like physically almost had to throw up because I had just stuffed myself with so much food. And this became a pattern. So I replaced putting my happiness on the gym on putting my happiness on food. Again, still not healthy. And then at some point I had gained enough weight again, and after 7 months my period came back and I was allowed to go to the gym again, and the gym is still today one of my biggest passions in life. But I was working out, binge eating still, because that had become a pattern. I didn't know how to stop it. So I was working out, binge eating, eating too much, wanting to burn off the excess amount of calories again. So I was working out even more again, and that led to even more binge eating again. So it became a cycle that I wasn't able to break for such a long time. In that period, like even when I was super skinny, I was really interested in all the things: personal development, mindset, spirituality, meditation, all these things. I went to school, went to the gym during the time where I was allowed to, and during the time where I wasn't, I just went home and just binge watched all the videos, read all the books, did all the workshops on all these things, and astrology and magic and chakras and all of these beautiful divine topics. So in 2016 was the period where I was working out, binge eating, like this cycle, and it lasted up until 2019. And in those years I was learning more about self-love, body acceptance, spirituality, mindset, all these things. And I was really practicing these things, and I was putting them into reality and doing them, and I healed every single day a little bit more. But it took time. So some of the practices that I did from 2016 to 2019 that really helped me with body image, self-love, self-acceptance, mindset, also all the spiritual things, was of course first being aware of the thoughts and patterns that I had, and then where are they coming from? Am I doing them? What is my deeper desire? And let's start with binge eating itself first. So if you are someone who experienced this or knows someone, please share this episode with them, because watching every single available video on this topic was really helpful for me. So with binge eating, ask yourself, what am I trying to avoid feeling? And then, what am I trying to feel through food? So for me, I was feeling lonely but didn't want to feel lonely, so I ate food to feel loved. Yeah, let that sink in. And then if you restrict yourself too much, part of you will want to rebel. Part of you will want to break out. That will probably always happen. This is what happens with children, right? If you set too many strict rules, they will do the opposite. They will break out. They will do what you tell them not to do. So instead of restricting yourself even more food, add more fruits, add more veggies, add more juices, add more water. Give yourself some pieces of chocolate every single day. Give yourself a cookie if that is what you like. Whatever it is, don't restrict yourself. And now if you're deeply in this binge eating pattern, like you know how it is, like you get this urge and you just literally cannot stop eating. Like even when you have thoughts of I am full, I am satisfied, I am just trying to avoid feeling this, you still keep eating. And for a long time, I knew that I was trying to avoid feeling lonely. I knew I was trying to just procrastinate working. I knew that I just wanted to get love out of that box of, I don't know, cookies or whatever it was. I knew that. I was thinking that. I was even saying it to myself. And I was like, I don't care. I still want to eat. And so healing the binge eating pattern, it's something that probably won't happen in a month. For me, it took years. It can happen in months. It can take longer or less longer, but it won't happen in a single day, and that is okay. Please be gentle and soft and kind and nice to yourself during this process, and don't tell yourself that you need to have healed it by March 2022 or something like that. So I know it's really hard, but take your phone, put on a timer for 90 seconds and sit your ass down and journal on why you want to eat this. Let the part of you that is having this binge eating attack, let that part of you express itself on paper, or move and dance for 90 seconds, or meditate for 90 seconds. One of these three things. I know it's really hard, and I knew this, and I still very often didn't do it. And then sometimes I did, and it helped. And then I didn't do it, even though I knew it would help me. And that is okay too. Again, this takes time and you don't need to heal it within 1 month. You get to take time for yourself. You get to take months and years and however much time you want for yourself, for your healing, for your transformation. Things don't need to happen within one day. And so 2 other things that really helped me were intuitive eating. Again, if you're in this binge eating pattern, you'll be like, how will intuitive eating ever help me? Because I will just binge eat more and more and more. And this might be the case in the beginning, but if you really start listening to your heart, to your body, to your intuition, to your womb, like, what do you want to eat today? How do you want to be nourished today? When you really start listening and not to the binge eating pattern in your mind or within your body that wants to come up and just like inhale every food that exists, but when you really listen to your body's real desires, they will be that they want to nourish themselves with healthy food, sometimes savory and sweet and unhealthy food as well, but it will be in a healthy manner. Your body usually doesn't want more than a few pieces of chocolate. It's the pattern within us that wants to inhale two whole bars of chocolate. I highly recommend you watch some more YouTube videos around this topic if you're interested. And the second thing was intermittent fasting. And this is something I've been doing for so many years. And in the beginning, if you're really, really deep in the binge eating pattern, this might not be the best practice to do. I invite you to research more about it and then listen to yourself, try it out. If you don't like it or if it doesn't feel right yet, please don't do it yet. So intermittent fasting is fasting for 16 hours, including sleep, and eating within an 8-hour window. And you can even reduce it. And there's so many benefits, like it helps with anti-aging, it helps to regenerate cells quicker. It's such a healthy practice. Please do your own research. Try it out. It really helped me. I loved it and I still love it. And now moving on to the being harsh on myself and the body image. I have a whole online course called Sensual Sexuality Mastery, which goes deep into deepening your connection with your body and your pleasure and your sexuality. And enjoying sex and really being present in sex requires for you to love your body, because if you're ashamed of your body, you will be thinking about how you look like, if you look good enough, what your partner thinks, what the person with whom you're having sex with thinks. You will be focused on these thoughts and you won't be able to enjoy sex. So loving your body is a vital part for having a beautiful, fulfilling sex life. So one exercise that I really want to share with you is stand in front of your mirror, and you can start with clothes on. And this is an exercise that I cried so much for so many months every time I did it. Stand in front of your mirror and look into your beautiful eyes, and then just scan your body and which body parts pop up first. What are the judgments coming up in regards to that body part? What are the thoughts? What are the judgments? What is the sentence that you're telling yourself? And where is it coming from? Is it really you that feels like your belly needs to be slimmer? Or is it the social media, the models, the magazines that have ingrained it into you that you should look differently? And just observe and let any emotions that are coming up come up. And then the next deeper level is doing it naked. When you're doing it naked, scan your whole body, start from the top of your head, and only say nice things to your beautiful body. Your eyebrows, your nose, your lips, your chin, every single thing, your ears, every single thing. And for me, I did it, and then I came to my belly, and so much shame came up. So much shame, guilt, wanting to hide, of literally just wishing I could cut my belly away or just like magically make it disappear came up. All these harsh, terrible judgments came up. I cried, and I realized how fucking hard I was being on myself. Why was I being so hard on myself? Would I say these thoughts to my best friend? Would I say these thoughts to others? No. So if I wouldn't even say these things to a person that isn't a good person, why am I saying these things to myself, right? So I realized that this realization was really helped me a lot. Like, would I say these thoughts to someone else, to my best friend? And then also this exercise, really, really, really fucking powerful. Allow yourself to feel all your emotions. It's okay. It's beautiful to release them. Hug yourself. Love yourself. And another exercise that really helped me was for, I think, 2015 to 2019, I was journaling every single day before going to bed. And I always started with, dear universe, thank you, thank you, thank you. Loads of thank yous. Thank you for my health, happiness, friends, family, all these beautiful things. And then in the end, I always wrote a love letter to my body. Even and especially during the times where I didn't love my body, where I wished it looked differently, where I wanted to desperately change it, I wrote those love letters to my body every single day, and the accumulation of it really, really helped me, because it changes your subconscious, it changes the thoughts that you have around your body. And the most powerful practice, of course, is awareness. What thoughts are you having? Where are they coming from? Do you really want to believe them? So these are the practices that I did from 2015-16 till 2019. And then in 2019, I went solo backpacking through 10 African countries, which was one of the most beautiful experiences in my life. And I learned a lot. And as you can imagine, in the middle of the Namibian desert, or in Zambia, or in Malawi, or anywhere, or in Mozambique, there are no gyms. Like, as soon as there was a gym, I did go to the gym. But I was okay with not working out. I didn't even bother about body workouts. I was like, you know what, let's take a break. My body needs it. I've been doing enough. And I ate the food that I got. And in that time, I just had to accept my body. I just had to love my body, because it was 40 degrees warm. There was no way I wasn't going to wear short clothes or be in a bikini. So I just had and got to love my body. And some judgment still came up, and that was okay. I just held myself. I rewrote the stories that I was having about my body. I was giving it love. I was focusing on life, because people don't think about your body. People don't care about your body. As long as you're healthy, of course, because if you're unhealthy and you have people who love you, they want you to live a long, happy life. But people don't think about your body all day long. People also don't think about you all day long. The people that you love, like, for me, I was often like, oh no, what will people think in regards of my body and just me generally? But as soon as I realized, like, people, my friends, they don't, like, of course they love me, but they don't live their life thinking about me all day long. And that is a good thing, right? So maybe this realization also helps some of you. So that is like my body love, body image, self-love journey. Of course, this is a journey for life. And I started my sexual healing journey in 2017. And I will keep this part for the second part, the spirituality, personal development part, that also started at the beginning of this whole gym thing. And I just was so interested in all these things. And one big thing that I did differently than I feel like a lot of people do is I didn't just read books and then put them away. I read those books and I practiced the knowledge. I read books and I always made notes in a journal next to it, and I like highlighted things, and I did the practices. I practiced the realizations that I had. I didn't just consume content, but I actually implemented it. And this is such an important part that a lot of people often miss. If you don't implement things, you can read thousands of books, right? So implement the knowledge that you get and consume. I've tried out so many different things, and I just kept buying books and joining courses and workshops and events. I even flew to LA for a 2-day seminar, but this will be a story for a different episode. And I just kept investing in myself. I will make a whole podcast episode about investing in yourself. That is so important. There's nothing that will give you as much as investing in yourself, in my opinion. I would love to hear from you on Instagram what your key takeaways or favorite parts of this podcast episode was. And if you know someone who's struggling with body image, body love, self-love, please share this podcast episode with them. Share this episode in your IG story and tag me at Soul Coach Nikita. And if there is anything you want to share with me or ask me or want me to make a podcast about, DM me that request, please, on Instagram at Soul Coach Nikita, and I'll be very happy to record this episode. I love you so much, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We would love to hear what your favorite takeaways were by DMing us at Soul Coach Nikita on Instagram. If you would leave a 5-star review on this podcast or share it with your friends and family and in your IG story and tagging us at Soul Coach Nikita, that would greatly help us spread the message and reach even more people. If there is anything that you wish and desire for us to cover in this podcast, please DM us at Soul Coach Nikita on Instagram, and we will try our best to cover it. Sending you so much love. XOXO Nikita.